Everyone is talking about Miami. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone has a headline. Everyone thinks they understand what's happening here. But most people are missing the point. Over the past few years, this channel has not only been about listings, it hasn't been about hype and expectations. It's been about uncovering what's really driving Miami at that moment. And here's what I kept seeing. Smart people, serious buyers, investors with real capital, still confused. Not because they lack information, but because they're drowning in it. Too many voices, too many opinions, too little context. People reacting instead of thinking, following noise instead of patterns. So this channel was never created to tell you what to buy. It was created to help you understand how to think about Miami real estate before you make a decision you'll live with for years. Because authority without clarity is useless, and clarity doesn't come from louder voices. It comes from better questions. If you're still watching right now, it's not because you want more information. It's because you want clarity, and that's exactly what you're going to get in this video. If you're trying to understand Miami's pre-construction market, you've probably noticed something frustrating. Everything is scattered. One project here, another one there, different sources, different agendas, no clear way to compare or understand the full picture. That's exactly why I built my website, Teran.com. It's designed as a central hub where you can see a wide range of Miami's new pre-construction projects in one place, something that's surprisingly rare online, but more importantly, it gives you context. You can see where a project stands, what neighborhood it's in, how it compares to others, and how it fits different timelines and strategies. Instead of jumping from link to link, you start seeing patterns. And once you see the full landscape, your decisions change. Because transparency doesn't come from more listings. It comes from seeing how everything connects. Over time, this approach has always made sense to me. I use it on my website. I use it when I'm invited to conversations, podcasts, and interviews. And when I'm featured in a Florida real estate industry publication coming out soon. But here's what matters more. A real estate website doesn't help you if it doesn't translate into clarity. That's why my website evolved from content to context, from information to connection. If you're still here, it's because you want to understand what actually applies to you. Keep watching. Once you step back and look at Miami clearly, you start noticing the same forces again and again. Not opinions, not trends, but structural drivers. I see them as three pillars, and once you understand them, Miami starts to make a lot more sense. This pillar explains why Miami isn't slowing down, even when headlines suggest it should. Miami isn't becoming a global city. It already is. What we're seeing isn't seasonal demand. It's permanent migration, executives relocating companies, entrepreneurs bringing businesses, international families choosing Miami as a base, not a vacation. This isn't about weather or taxes alone. It's about positioning. People are choosing Miami because it connects lifestyle, opportunity, and global access in ways very few cities can. That's why this shift feels different, because it is. This is where most people misunderstand opportunity and where long-term positioning actually begins. Pre-construction isn't about buying early. It's about understanding when a city is still being built. When a market is evolving, the best opportunities don't look obvious yet. Pre-construction rewards patience, clarity, and the ability to think ahead. It's not designed for speculation. It's designed for people who understand timing. That distinction matters. And this is where most people get it wrong, because they treat pre-construction like speculation instead of strategy. When a city is still being built, the smartest opportunities don't appear at the end. They appear before everything is obvious. This pillar explains why demand in Miami isn't just financial, it's personal, and it's not accidental. Miami is one of the few cities where work, life, culture, and opportunity don't compete. They combine. Imagine downtown living, walkable neighborhoods, access to business, culture, and global connectivity without sacrificing quality of life. This combination attracts talent, it attracts capital, and it creates long-term demand that doesn't disappear overnight. This is where many people stop looking at Miami as a market and start experiencing it as a place to live and build a future. And this shift is shaping the kind of real estate being built today. I organized all of these ideas into a simple framework in my free guide called Miami's Pre-Construction Blueprint. I'll tell you how to access it at the end of this video. But before that, there's something important to understand, because once you see these pillars clearly, you also start to notice the same mistakes people are making over and over again. And that's what we're going to talk about next. Once you understand the pillars, a pattern starts to appear. Most people don't make mistakes because they're careless. They make them because they're reacting to headlines, reacting to social media clips, reacting to urgency created by someone else. They confuse movement with progress, activity with strategy. They jump from one project to another, from one opinion to the next, without ever stepping back to understand how everything connects. They feel pressure to act before they've taken the time to understand why a project exists and who it's actually built for. Another common mistake is focusing on the building, on branding, or views, or expectations of quick appreciation, but ignoring the timeline, ignoring how long a project will take to deliver, ignoring how their own life, plans, or priorities may change, ignoring whether the strategy actually fits them. And maybe the biggest mistake of all is assuming there's a right move that fits everyone, because there isn't. People skip the most important question. Does this align with my timeline, my goals, and my reality? Miami offers opportunity, but opportunity without understanding creates frustration. That's why context matters, and why alignment with the full picture comes before any decision. When you step back and look at everything we've discussed this year, a few signals become very clear. This channel wasn't just about projects. It was about understanding how decisions actually play out over time. We talked about building associations and HOAs, and why governance, rules, and long-term management matter as much as the building itself and need to be considered. After recent changes in Florida, understanding reserves, inspections, and long-term maintenance has become increasingly important. This is one of the key differences between informed and uninformed decisions. We discussed why pre-construction often offers advantages over older buildings. Not because newer is always better, but because many older buildings are facing special assessments as they adapt to updated building requirements, while newer buildings are designed for how people actually live today. We also spent time discovering why people are leaving colder cities. Not just for weather, but for flexibility, quality of life, and long-term planning. They love the ability to live downtown instead of commuting from the suburbs. People coming from New York, Chicago, and other cold markets aren't just escaping winter, they're redesigning their lifestyle. And we explained why Florida's tax structure has become part of that broader relocation conversation, especially looking ahead to 2026 and beyond, as more people factor it into long-term planning decisions. All of those themes connect. They explain why certain projects stand out at certain moments, especially now that some of the recommendations we discussed this year are approaching delivery. Projects like Nomad Residences, Wynwood, and Viceroy Brickell Residences are moving from concept to reality, with delivery times expected in early 2026, based on current developer projections and subject to change. For some of my clients, those decisions are now moving into a different phase as these projects approach completion. At the same time, we also talked about the importance of entry point. And that's where a project like Edge House Residences becomes interesting. It's still at a very early stage, with delivery anticipated around 2028. A 57-story residential tower in Edgewater. For someone looking to participate in a pre-construction cycle from a point closer to the beginning, this is the type of opportunity that deserves attention, not because of hype, but because of timing. The lesson from this year is simple. There's no single best move. What matters is understanding where a project sits, how it aligns with your goals, and why timing changes the questions you should be asking. That perspective is what prepares you for the year ahead. Having the correct context makes a real difference. If you want detailed information on any of these projects or on others we've discussed throughout the year, you can reach me directly through my website or request a private consultation session. Because timing is personal, and the right move depends on your goals, not the market noise. And this is exactly why I don't believe in one-way content. Because depending on your situation, one of these topics may matter more than the others. And that brings us to something important. At this point, one thing should be clear. Not everyone watching this video is looking for the same thing. Some of you are thinking about relocating, others are comparing buildings. Some are concerned about HOAs and long-term ownership, and others are starting to look ahead at what 2026 deliveries really mean. That's why this channel was never meant to be one-way content, because the most valuable insights don't come from assumptions. They come from understanding real situations. So instead of telling you what to focus on next, I want this to reflect what you need clarity on. Are you trying to understand how building associations work today? Are you relocating from a colder market and rethinking how and where you want to live? Or are you looking closely at projects delivering in 2026 and wondering which ones actually align with your goals? If any of those resonate, leave a comment below. Because what we talk about next on this channel will be shaped by the situations you're navigating, not by generic content, but by what actually matters in your life right now. Miami is changing, but not in random ways. There are patterns, signals, and decisions that reward clarity over speed. Whether you're thinking about relocating, evaluating ownership and HOAs, or looking ahead at projects delivering in 2026, the most important thing is understanding how all of this fits your situation. I created a free guide called Miami's Pre-Construction Blueprint. It organizes many of the ideas we discussed today into a clear framework for educational purposes that you can revisit at your own pace. You'll find the link in the description, or you can comment book below and you'll receive it. If you want to explore that more deeply, you can reach me directly through my website or request a private consultation session. Not to rush a decision, but to make a better one. I'm Guillermo Teran, and I help buyers and investors make smart, confident decisions in Miami's real estate market. Check out these other videos for more insights and visit my website to learn more about Miami's pre-construction opportunities. If you're ready to take the next step, we'll explore the most relevant options in Miami's pre-construction real estate market and find the project that fits your goals. Thank you for watching.